So the Champions League final has just ended in dramatic fashion. It was PSG 1, Arsenal 1, but PSG came out victorious on penalties, and it was Arsenal's main man, one of Arsenal's best players this season, the rock at the back, the guy who was Arsenal's best player on the day, Gabriel. Unfortunately, he stepped up for Arsenal's fifth pen and he blazed it over the bar to give PSG back-to-back Champions League wins, becoming only the second team in the modern era to go back-to-back after that Real Madrid team. And for Arsenal, man, heartbreaking stuff, man, because they were there. The game plan from Arteta was good today. His in-game subs, in my opinion, very good. He went for it. He went toe-to-toe with PSG. He wasn't scared. He was not shook. You know what I'm saying? There was parts in the game where it was end-to-end. Both teams had slight chances, but in the end, PSG, I said it before, there's something inevitable about this PSG side, no matter how they want to do it. In a match today where they weren't at their sparkling best, you know, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Doué, they weren't at their sparkling best today. Just all of them, even when Barcola came on, they weren't at their sparkling best, the midfield included. However, they found a way to win, and that's something I mentioned in my preview, that this PSG side, it doesn't have to be pretty football for them to win. They can grind it out, you know what I'm saying? They got dogs on that team. Shout out to João Neves, man. João Neves, absolute dog. Still after 115 minutes, this guy's making runs down the bylines, taking it past players, putting in crosses, trying to get that winner in extra time. But yeah, PSG, they have dogs. They have dogs, man. They have dogs. Players with winning mentalities and a winning coach, man. Shout out to Luis Enrique, man. But also big respect to Arsenal, big respect to Arteta as well, because, hey, man, like I said, he got the game plan right. He went toe-to-toe with PSG, and Arsenal today, they competed. But yeah, unfortunately, it's ended with them losing on pens. Eberechi, Eze missing a pen, and Gabriel missing that final crucial pen. But let's take it back all the way to the start, man. So we take it to the start. Hey, man. Team news comes out. Lewis Skelly over Zubamendi. I thought that was the correct decision in my opinion. Lewis Skelly having the legs in there because Arteta sort of knew that, yo, we're gonna be out of possession this game. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna have the possession. I need Lewis Skelly's legs in there. He's gonna be a very, you know, PSG likes to play man-to-man, and, you know, Zubamendi, especially in those early stages, Zubamendi could have really struggled with the physicality, and Lewis Skelly came in, and he was flawless as ever, you know what I'm saying? For such a young guy, Lewis Skelly, his head, his mentality is top, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? He never looks flustered on the pitch, had a few good moments today as well, kept his shape, kept his discipline alongside Declan Rice. Very, very good. And Nketiah started at left back over Calafiori, and then the big one for me was Timber did not start. Mosquera actually started, and he had a good game until a crucial incident which we'll get into. But Mosquera kept Kvaratskhelia relatively quiet, so yeah, he was probably the big change for Arsenal. As for PSG, it was the same 11 as always, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to mention it. You know it, I know it, we know the 11 guys who started. Zaire Emery, unfortunate not to start considering how good he's been this season, but you know, when Fabian's fit, he has to play in the eyes of Luis Enrique. But we get into the game now, and PSG, they have all the possession in the early stages. PSG are the team, they have the possession in the early stages, but Arsenal are keeping a great shape, you know what I'm saying? They really held PSG down, especially in those first, I would say, 10-15 minutes. Those first 10-15 minutes, PSG struggled to get out of their own half. They were passing it around the back. Guys like Vitinha, Neves dropping in to try give the defense options, but they really couldn't get out. The ball would swing over to Nuno Mendes, swing over to Hakimi. There were even times where Desiree, you know, PSG liked to rotate, and Desiree Doué had to come almost as a right-back position to, you know, try receive the ball, try do something. But Arsenal's shape today, especially in that first half, was so good, and they got their rewards down that right-hand side. A ricochet from a Marquinhos clearance, and for me, I don't know what it is with PSG in the Champions League. It just feels like when things go wrong for PSG, Marquinhos is always at the scene of the crime, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. Even the years before they got their Champions League, Marquinhos is always at the scene of the crime. And here, Arsenal do very, very well. They've held their shape. Marquinhos tries to clear it. It comes off, I believe it's Leandro Trossard, and the ball breaks to Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz, he's driving. He has a little look up in the box. He sees that there's nobody, and Kai Havertz, he does so well just to take his time, compose himself. He knows at the near post, he can't really beat the keeper if he goes low or if he goes in the keeper's midriff. So he knows he has to lift it, and he does just that. You know what I'm saying? Kai Havertz, roof of the net. What a finish, bro. 6 minutes in, Arsenal in dreamland, 1-0. You know what I'm saying? He repeats his feat that he did with Chelsea 5 years ago, scored the winning goal in 2021, and he gave Arsenal the lead today, May 30th, 2026. What a finish from Kai Havertz. What a dream start for Arsenal, you know what I'm saying? And for Arsenal, I'd say 20 minutes in, they defensive shape, they held PSG down. PSG didn't really have any clear-cut chances in that first half, especially, you know, first 20-25. PSG really didn't have anything, although they were keeping the ball quite well, and then eventually they did start to creep. You started to see a little bit of the movements. You started to see guys like Kvaratskhelia, guys like Dembele, they started to pick a few passes, and you know, PSG went from their own half, and then you could see progressively Arsenal sort of got deeper. PSG, you know, with the ball, they got deep, they got higher up the pitch, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, you see the centre-backs coming up to the halfway line, and now they're playing, you know what I'm saying? So, ultimately, though, Arsenal did very, very well to nullify them. Bukayo Saka didn't really have a great impact in terms of, you know, what he did on the ball, but I feel like when he was on the pitch today, him helping out Mosquera really, really helps nullify Kvaratskhelia, because like I said in the preview, Kvaratskhelia, probably the most informed player in world football, you know what I'm saying? Especially in this season's Champions League. He's been absolutely ridiculous. But today, I feel like he struggled simply because there was always a double on him, you know? There was always a double on Kvaratskhelia, which was the game plan. And I think Bukayo Saka had a lot to do with that in that first half. He helped out Mosquera really well. You saw before the drinks break, they stopped Kvaratskhelia. I'm pretty sure Mosquera won a throw-in. Him and Saka, you know, high-fived before the drinks break. And you can see that was the game plan. And it was all working well for Arsenal. They 1-0 into the drinks break. Kvaratskhelia limited. Dembele limited. Doué. There wasn't really much space in that first half. Gabriel, that man as well. Gabriel, he missed the pen. And it's unfortunate, like I said, because he was immense. He was immense today. Shortly after the goal, I remember the ball breaks for Kvaratskhelia. You're thinking, yo, if Kvaratskhelia gets his toe on it, maybe one touch and then he can shoot. But Gabriel he slides in and then he just hooks his leg out of nowhere. He just hooks his leg, clears it out for a throw-in. Big challenge from Gabriel. Then there was another one where Doué, you saw Desiree Doué, the feet started to dance. You're like, oh my days, you know what I'm saying? You know when a winger gets into full flight where the ball breaks for Doué, he latches onto it, a little La Croquette, and you're thinking, this might be dark. But Gabriel, another slide tackle inside the box, has to time it well. If he doesn't, it's a penalty. Gets it completely right, and he does his thing again. Then there was another time Dembele was on his right, chops back onto his left. Big block from Gabriel again. You thought Dembele had managed to work a yard, but no, Gabriel, he was there. You know what I'm saying? Gabriel was there. He was immense in that first half. I think him and Saliba didn't put a foot wrong. They were winning headers, winning their duels. I think all of the Arsenal players, to be honest, were winning their duels. Like Martin Odegaard as well, out of possession. Like I said, a lot of Arsenal players, you know, in possession, they had limited time on the ball because obviously PSG were the team, you know, with most of the possession. I'm pretty sure at one point in the first half they had like 75%. But I feel like all of them Arsenal players, they did their job, you know, out of possession. Trossard, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Rice. I think they all did very, very well in terms of just keeping it compact and limited PSG's chances in that first half. And yeah, PSG were getting frustrated by Arsenal in that first half. A great example was, I'm pretty sure Nuno Mendes had lost the ball on the edge of his own half, and then he just sort of, you know, the ball gets played up to Saka, and he just sort of trips Saka up, and just gives away a needless free kick, you know what I'm saying? Just gives away a needless free kick, and you can start to feel PSG players, you know, getting very frustrated, which was very promising signs for Arsenal. Another thing that was promising for Arsenal was they started to have chances after the goal as well. They started to have chances. Miles Lewis-Skelly, that man, I said once again, so much power when he drives with the ball. You could see it from his academy clips if you've seen them. He loves to, you know, get on the half turn, get on the ball. And once he gets going, he's very, very hard to stop. I'm pretty sure it's João Neves. João Neves, who I just mentioned, that guy's an absolute dog, an absolute terrier. But Miles Lewis-Skelly, too strong for him at such a young age, just moves Neves out the way. Plays a great ball into Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka, he sizes up Mendes, goes on the outside, whips in a dangerous cross, and Savinov is forced to, you know, slide, parry it away, gets a bang in the head. But the main chance for Arsenal came right at the end of that first half. It's great combination play, you know, Saka, Odegaard, Havertz down that right. side. You know, I said before that Havertz, he's so crucial to, you know, in terms of hold up play, in terms of linking up with other people, and he did it right here. It's a great pass from Odegaard. On Odegaard's weak foot, he has the ability to do those sort of things. Odegaard on the weak foot. Saka plays it into Odegaard on his right foot, just weighs it perfectly for Havertz. And in my opinion, I think he just takes a bit of a heavy touch. It's either he touches a little bit heavy or he just hesitates to sort of set himself. If he can just manage to just set himself slightly quicker, I think it's 2-0 Arsenal. I back Kai Havertz in that position, especially the fact that he's confident. He had already scored in the match before. I think if he takes that just slightly earlier, if he sets himself slightly quicker, I think that's 2-0 Arsenal going into the break, and that would have been a dream scenario. I don't think PSG would have been able to score 2 without reply in that second half. I don't think they would have. But Arsenal did get a corner from that, but the ref did blow for half-time, which I think was weird. I think the ref was sort of signalling that Saka took too long to take it, but it was weird that he gave the corner, and then just as soon as Saka's about to take it, he blows it for half-time. But at half-time, it's PSG 0, Arsenal 1. Obviously, Arteta being the happier manager going into the second half. Enrique, he needed something from his team, you know what I'm saying? He needed something from his team because their chances had been very limited in that first half. David Raya didn't really have anything to do. And when the two teams came out for the second half, it was PSG who obviously needed to take the initiative. They came out way before Arsenal in that second half. You know, PSG players, they were waiting for Arsenal. They were ready and they got on the ball. They started doing their thing. Vitinha had that really long run at the start of the second half where he played a 1-2. I'm pretty sure it was with Mendes, but the ball just sort of ran away from Vitinha. You know what I'm saying? The ball ran away from Vitinha. And yeah, PSG were probing, but still no real big chances. Arsenal were still, you know, had a good shape, and Arsenal working hard off the ball. Once again, there was a moment, you know, Declan Rice and Saka, you know, Declan Rice winning the ball, Saka winning the ball, but Saka just fouled. I'm pretty sure, I think it was Doué or Kvaratskhelia, but you know, Arsenal players just showing intent, just showing, you know, that they're here to win, you know what I'm saying? Battling hard, winning the ball back. Things were just going for Arsenal. You had the João Neves foul throw, and you know, when things like that are happening, you're probably thinking, yo, it's our day, you know what I'm saying? Yo, you know, things are going well for us. However, when it comes to this PSG side, you can never let your guard down, man. You can never let your guard down. A brilliant 1-2, brilliant give and go. The give and go was so sharp from Kvaratskhelia into Dembele, back into Kvaratskhelia, and he just gets his body in front of Mosquera, and you can see straight away it's a penalty. Straight away it's a penalty. We all sort of knew. VAR tried, you know, VAR were looking at it, but we all kind of knew Kvaratskhelia, he did very well to get his body in front of Mosquera, and it's unfortunate for Mosquera because that was the only thing he did wrong. He hadn't put a foot wrong at all in that final, and yeah, one mistake, one chance of PSG, penalty. And like I said, this PSG team, they find a way, you know what I'm saying? They will always find a way. I can't remember the last time these guys failed to score a goal in the Champions League. Maybe they had one game in the league phase where they didn't score, but when I watch these guys, they always find a way. Somehow they find a way, and they found a way here through Kvaratskhelia winning a pen. And obviously Dembele, current World Player of the Year, Ballon d'Or winner, he steps up, takes the pen with his right foot, sends Raya the wrong way, no doubt. Side netting, and it's 1-1, and now the final is really on, you know what I'm saying? Now the final's really on, and you're thinking to yourself, from an Arsenal perspective, yo, let's not panic, you know what I'm saying? Let's not panic. Let's get control back into the game. We can't afford a PSG avalanche. Let's get some control back into the game. Arteta did make changes after that. He did now introduce Jurriën Timber for Mosquera. A bit unfortunate for Mosquera to come off right after making that mistake. But I just think from Mosquera's point of view, it's like, yo, that was the one thing he did wrong all day, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he should come off feeling ashamed in any sort of way, even though he was taken off directly after the penalty incident. Arteta was brave. He also brought on Gyökeres for Martin Odegaard. You know what I'm saying? The easy thing for Arteta to do was probably just, all right, cool, Gyökeres for Havertz, keep it like that. You know, let's be compact and let's go to extra time. But no, the game actually opened up when PSG scored, which I think is very oxymoronic. I thought the game would sort of shut down. Arteta would sort of shut down shop, and that's why I gave him his credit in the first segment, because yo, Arteta went for it. Arteta was like, yo, I'm going for this, and the game started to be very, very end to end. You had the chance where you know, Pacho just took it off of Timber's toe. Timber was sliding in, and Pacho just took it off his toe. Fabian Ruiz plays the ball into Bradley Barcola. We know Bradley Barcola's speed is crazy. Like, his speed is crazy, especially against tired legs. He takes a touch, takes another one, but then David Raya came out for it. David Raya, I thought he mistimed it, but Raya just about got there. And then there was also the one before that, before Kvaratskhelia came off for Bradley Barcola, where the throw-in comes in. I'm pretty sure the throw-in comes in. Long throw from Declan Rice. It gets flicked on. Mendes clears it, and then Neves clears it again. And then all of a sudden, Kvaratskhelia, the ball's coming down. Kvaratskhelia, he checks his shoulder, sees Saliba, and just flicks it past Saliba. He says, goodbye, Saliba. Saliba did his work. Saliba did quite well to track back there, to be fair. Like, Saliba, he really put on the burners. But Kvaratskhelia, he's driving. At the last second, you're thinking, all right, cool. He looks 1v1 with Raya. Takes the shot on his left foot, but Miles Lewis-Skelly comes across and it clips the outside of the post for a corner. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like Kvaratskhelia ran out of steam a little bit. I feel like a fully fresh Kvaratskhelia, he should be away. But I feel like run out of steam. Maybe it's because he sort of knew Saliba, was charging in behind him. But yeah, Lewis-Skelly did well to come across, get that deflection off the post, out for a corner. And yeah, the game really started opening up, which I thought would suit PSG. And PSG, they had chances. You had the time where Desiree Doué, you know, few step overs, chopped inside, laid the ball into Vitinha. Vitinha with the Mr. Whippy into that far corner, just a little bit too high. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit too high. You had obviously the Hakimi free kick before the goal, but the game sort of opened up, and I thought it suited PSG. But to be fair, in the late stages of the game, Arsenal did defend really well. They got back into their shape. They, you know, once it got to the last 10 minutes of the game, you know, they did make substitutions with Martinelli, with Madueke. They took off, you know, the likes of Saka and Trossard, but I feel like their shape was very, very good. They had another opportunity, Arsenal, you know what I'm saying? They had another opportunity. The ball broke to Martinelli, but he just didn't produce that quality. Just did not produce that quality whatsoever. The pass to Madueke was too heavy. I personally think that the pass wasn't on. I feel like he should have just waited, carried on driving, see what opened up for him, because he had Madueke on his right and he had Victor Gyökeres on his left. I think he's just rushed that Martinelli, and I think that's a reason why he doesn't start for this Arsenal team. Just erratic. As a player, I feel like he needs to improve that in his game, just the decision making in certain areas, just to have that composure. But yeah, I think Arsenal, they defended very, very well going into extra time. PSG were passing, they were probing, but ultimately nothing really came from it. And yeah, my normal time ended 1-1, and we're going to extra time in a Champions League final for the first time since 2016. We get into extra time, and you guys know extra time, man. If you've watched football for long enough, you know extra time. Very, very cagey. No one's trying to make a mistake. I think Madueke was very, very bright, and hey, man, big Madueke moment. First of all, he got the ball, put in a decent low cross to win a corner, and then it came, you know. Madueke, fresh legs against a more tired Mendes. We all know Mendes is quick, but Madueke is equally as quick, plus his legs were fresh. I think Madueke goes on the outside, and I think Mendes has been beat. Mendes has been beat ultimately, and he just tumbles into the back of Madueke. I do not know how that did not even go to VAR. I think if you're an Arsenal fan, you look at that and you're thinking, yo, what is going on? If you're an Arsenal fan, you definitely deserve to feel hard done by, because Madueke has beaten Mendes. He's beaten Mendes. He's gone on the outside of Mendes, looking to get across, looking to pick someone out in the box, and Mendes has just clattered into him. I don't know how Nuno Mendes has got away with that. If you watch the Premier League, even if you've watched European football this year, you've seen things like that given. So for me, that was very, very strange. And guys like Declan Rice, Mikel Arteta had all the right to be like, yo, are you not even going to VAR that? Like, Declan Rice was fuming. And I think rightly so. I think he was right to be so angry with that, because, yo, I'm just thinking, how is it not a penalty? Like, I would love to have, heard the argument, like, Mendes just clattered into him. Like, Mendes, it was very, very, you could see Mendes had been beat. It was very, very clumsy from Nuno Mendes. He just sort of they both fall over. He just falls over into the back of Madueke. I would love to hear the argument. I would love to hear somebody argue how that wasn't a penalty, in my opinion. But there was another penalty incident that I forgot to mention earlier on in the game. For me, that Bukayo Saka handball even in the first half, I don't know how that one didn't get checked either. I think maybe because it's a Champions League final, they were trying to let things go, but that Saka one as well, to be fair, if you're an Arsenal fan, maybe it does level out, because I think that Saka handball, the way he miskicked it, I'm pretty sure it comes with both of his hands. I'm even that one, I was like, yo, how did that not go to VAR? So maybe, maybe the football gods were like, yo, Arsenal caught life. PSG, you get to catch life as well. Let's go into the penalty shootout, and into the penalty shootout we go, man. Into the penalty shootout we go. Gonzalo Ramos off the bench, he stepped up, brilliant pen, top right. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm pretty sure it was Victor Gyökeres who stepped up for Arsenal. Gyökeres, he puts it in the bottom corner, sends the keeper the wrong way. Then for PSG, it was Desiree Doué. Desiree Doué, he steps up, composure from Doué, you know what I'm saying? Composure from Doué at such a young age, 20 years old. I knew Doué had the minerals when he scored the winning pen against at Anfield, you know what I'm saying? I knew he had the minerals to step up as the fifth taker at Anfield, hit the little Cole Palmer celebration. I knew he had the minerals. I had faith that Doué would score. And then it was Eze's time. Mr. Let it all work out, man. You could see from the run-up, I think I sort of knew how this was going when the keeper wasn't moving. Safonov was not going, bro. Like, Eze, he was looking at the keeper's eyes. The start-step penalty, the classic, the Neymar, the Pogba. But as soon as the keeper doesn't dive, it can really put off a player. I think because he sees that Safonov doesn't go, he tries to put it too much into the corner. You know what I'm saying? I think if he sees Safonov go either way, maybe he guides it inside of the post. But I think because he sees that Safonov has not moved at all, I think he's tried to place it too much into the side netting just to make sure that Safonov doesn't get there. And unfortunately for Ebere Eze, he just drags it and it's advantage PSG. However, hey man, straight after that, Nuno Mendes steps up, and Nuno Mendes, we all know Mendes. He only has one place that he's going. He loves that right hand side. Normally he rockets it into that, that top right corner like he did in the Nations League final. But here, ultimately, Raya saved it, and it's level once again. You know what I'm saying? Raya saved, level once again. Then it was Declan Rice to step up, even him. Sure penalty, bit close to the keeper. I'll be real, the Declan Rice pen was a bit close to the keeper, but hey, he got it past Safonov, and yeah, we were all level then. Then Hakimi tucked away his pen, great penalty by the way, sent right the wrong way, side netting. Then it was another great pen. Martinelli into the top corner. I thought his run-up was a bit awkward in my opinion, but he got the job done. Then Beraldo coming on as a substitute, holding his nerve and just slotting it away. And then it came down to the fifth pen, Gabriel. It felt like a big moment. There's them moments in penalty shootout where you feel like this is the one, he has to score. You know what I'm saying? Arsenal's best player on the night, in my opinion, one of their players of the season. And you're just thinking to yourself, it would be so bad for it to be Gabriel. I was saying that, I just had that feeling though that it was going to be Gabriel. I just had that feeling where, he'd missed the pen. We'd see him break down in tears. And unfortunately for Gabriel, he skied it over the bar, man. And that was it. PSG win back-to-back Champions League. Marquinhos came over to console Gabriel. To be fair, Gabriel, he took it like a man. You know what I'm saying? Gabriel took it like a man. He didn't shed any tears. He just stood there after the game and he just took, you know what I'm saying? Shook hands with his teammates. His teammates were consoling him. I was expecting the guy to break down. Maybe Gabriel 2 or 3 years ago. Hey, man, he's breaking down into tears. He's doing all of the theatrics. But to be fair, considering what he's been through, you know what I'm saying, the heartbreaks of losing out on league titles, cup finals, and winning the Premier League, hey man, you can see that's growth, that's maturity from Gabriel. But fortunately, he has to take that as a man. He has to go to bed at night and think about that moment. But I don't think he can't hang his head in shame, because like I said, the whole season in Paris, and he was Arsenal's best player on the night. It was just unfortunate that he ended up being the fifth penalty taker. Being a defender as well, he showed the ball, he showed the cojones to step up, so you can't really get onto him, especially when, there were other attackers and midfielders who didn't step up to take a pen for Arsenal. He decides to step up, and hey, man, you lived with the result. But PSG, man, PSG, their names have to go down in the history books in terms of one of the great European sides. I said before, there's an air of inevitability about this PSG side. You just never feel like they're in danger of losing. Even when they went one down today very early, I just knew they would find a way to score. And even in the penalty shootout, even when Mendes missed, you never felt panicked. You never felt, you know, oh my days, PSG can lose this. So yeah, man, they definitely have to go down as one of the great European sides, man. So yeah, they do the double. Arsenal, they lose the Champions League final, but I do think Arsenal will be back. I said it before in the preview. Sometimes in the Champions League, it's cruel. You have to go through the heartbreak. Ask Chelsea, ask Man City, ask PSG themselves. You have to lose a heartbreaking final or a heartbreaking semi-final. You have to go through the fire. It's just the way the Champions League goes. And Arsenal haven't been to a final in 20 years, but I think they'll be back. And I think when they do go back to the final, they'll get over the line, just like they got over the line in the Premier League. But PSG, back-to-back trophies, man, they have to be considered for one of the great European sides. The way they've torn teams apart over these last 2 years and over the last 2 years in the group stages, in the knockout rounds, and they've got it done. You know, first time against Inter, emphatic style, 5-0 win. But then this time they showed mettle. They went a goal down, but they showed their bottle, they showed their mentality, took it all the way to penalties, and they outlasted Arsenal and ultimately secured their second Champions League win in a row.